Welcome today. This time we speak to Jonathan from 501 Entertainment. He will give a short summary later on. The topic that we discussed today is the path to success. Literally the path to success within the trends of gamification that we see now and competitive socializing. I believe you're both quick talkers, but I have the weird accent, so it's better for you to do the talk. Could you please start off by introducing yourself?
Sure. Hello. So I'm Jonathan Powell, CEO of 501 Entertainment. Been in the industry for about 15 years now. Started out with gaming machines in the UK market, and from there built up a strong sort of software competency in developing digital gaming machines for the UK pub market.
Wow.
We came across the smartboard from Unicorn while just doing a bit of market research, and saw the technology it provided and got in touch with the guys at Unicorn and thought, you know what, we can make a strong commercial product out of this. And since then, we've entered a JV with Unicorn. They are our partners in the business, and we formed 501 Entertainment to bring the darts product to market. It's been phenomenally successful so far. It's growing at a rate of knots, which is great.
What we see and hear, indeed.
Yeah, and look, so from that, we've thought, well, how far can we take this? So we've looked at interactive darts, we've developed it into augmented reality darts, and then we thought, well, what other product can we bring to market? So, we also have an interactive shuffleboard product that we've recently launched, and a cashless pool solution as well. So, wow, there you go.
And that's just the beginning, I guess.
It is. It's just the beginning, yeah. So we've got a long roadmap of developments and projects. It's a really exciting time to be involved in the industry and sort of diversifying as well from the UK pub sector, where the products are very specific to that market, to actually opening up a much wider addressable market all around the world. So from a personal perspective, being able to deal with people all around the world has been, it's a great experience, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the intro. We're going to deep dive in your company and how you come to this and how you envision it as well. Extra side story I would like to hear. What do you do in your off time, if you have any off time?
Oh, off time. Yeah, what's that? So I've got a young family. I've got two stepkids who are 16 and 17. So play taxi for them quite a lot. I've got a little 4-year-old as well, so spend a lot of time with him. But nice. When I do get out and about, mainly be found on the either on a squash court or on a golf course. So they're my two sports of choice.
Maybe you can make it interactive as well.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, please go ahead.
I was going to say, we've got to keep our product developments under wraps because they're on the roadmap at the moment. So don't start, digging too deep on that one.
Cool. I stop. Let's go to the question. Thanks for the intro. Again, the path to success within trends and gamification and competitive socializing, you know all about it. That's why you jumped in. If we look at your experience within the leisure industry, you're quite a well-known name on LinkedIn, but also by talks in different countries in the leisure industry. What is it about your approach that defines your success?
Well, I think it's just sort of what I touched on in the introduction, is we've come from a gaming background. So we've built up a really strong software competency, hardware competency, and we're experienced in building technology that works and lasts in hospitality and leisure environments. And it seems like a straightforward thing, but, there are weird and wonderful situations that can happen. The hardware itself has got to be robust enough to survive in locations where people are constantly touching it, constantly interacting with it. And that in itself is no small feat, but something, we've built up the skill set to do over the last sort of 15 years. But sort of being involved in leisure and hospitality for that length of time, we also sort of recognize our customers' needs. We understand what they want, what their businesses need. And so when it comes to things like designing our data platform, we design it with the data we know they want to see. So real actionable data that can actually make a difference to their businesses.
And this defines your success, I would say. And then you say actually in a nutshell that you really listen to the market and to the potential clients then, right? And the potential clients are actually the people that drink the beer and do the games?
Absolutely. So you've touched on the two there. So it's end users and our clients themselves. So the venue owners. And because we have all in-house development, we have a super agile approach. So if a venue owner comes back to us and say, hey, wouldn't it be great if your system could do X, Y, or Z, we can turn that round really quickly. Cool. Equally, when we talk to guests as well, or we sit and we watch and we just observe people using our products, we can say, well, do you know what, actually, that part of the guest experience isn't quite right. Let's take it back, let's tweak it, and let's relaunch it. So, it's the ability to move and constantly adapt that I think sort of has been a part of our success. Plus as well, coming from a gaming side, making new games, we do that. That is our core competency, if you will, designing games that have the right level of jeopardy, the right level of engagement, and keep people hooked and really, get a lot out of those experiences.
Got you. Listening, being agile. This is what I catch as well, right?
Yeah.
So being able to adapt. One other sub question for this main question I have then is, if you listen to your clients and you listen to the end user, how did you foresee the trend which is happening right now, that competitive socializing is going on? Because if I look at the Netherlands, for example, we see it's coming. It's not as far as the UK. We see beers and jeu de boule. I don't know if you call it like that. However, you guys implement way more games. I also see, like you said, the shuffle pool, the shuffleboards. I mean, so how did you see the trend coming?
Yeah, so look, I mean, for me, this is a really fascinating topic, and I think it's sort of multifaceted. There's lots of things and lots of bits of societal change that have led to where we are now. And I think first and foremost, most obviously, people have been cooped up for the last 18 months because of COVID. Okay. And now people want stuff to do. Okay. That's an obvious and that's a given. But at the same time, the trend for social entertainment and competitive socializing was kicking off way before COVID. Big part of that is that we live in an on-demand society. Okay. So if you imagine company, or think of companies like Netflix, where you can stream any film you want instantly. Look at Amazon, where you can order a product online and have it the next day. People want things straight away. So rather than putting in the legwork and saying, do you know what, I'm going to learn how to play darts, and I'm going to go and practice and practice and practice. I'm going to learn the rules. I'm going to join a club and go through all of that process. Rather than doing that, they're looking at, say, the interactive darts we provide and go, oh, do you know what, I can get the same level of gratification without any of that legwork. And what that does, it gives them the opportunity to try more and more products and have a much broader range of experiences. And then, of course, they can share those experiences across social media platforms. And, everyone sort of loves the hashtag living my best life, out there playing games, having fun. Yeah. I really like that you mentioned the Netflix/Amazon world, because indeed that's how far people are online. I think the last 18 months, like you say, people went online only. Now they're going to take it into the physical experience again. But then at least the same model needs to be transferred here as well. So that's what you're playing in on. And we see it outside of our industry as well. So, I've mentioned Netflix and Amazon, but if we look at other sports and which sports are trending around the world, I don't know how familiar you are with pickleball, for example.
Not much.
So pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the US. And it's like a mini version of tennis. So over 4 million people playing. And when you look at tennis, you think, you know what, teaching an overarm serve is quite a difficult skill to learn. Yeah. Pickleball, anyone can pick up and play. And so it comes down to that same thing, is that you get the instant gratification without having to put in the hard yards of learning a sport and dedicating all of your time to learning one sport. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of parallels in a lot of different walks of life, and that's what's led social entertainment and competitive socializing to be so successful.
Sounds good. Thanks for your answer. If we take this to the next question, if we look at your biggest success in helping a specific leisure location improving their offerings and increase profit, how did you achieve the success? I don't know if you can mention someone or not. That's okay. But if you look at the locations, how did you help them grow their business?
Okay, so look, it's a tricky question, because we supply products to such a broad range of businesses that all come to us with, various starting points and various goals of what they're trying to achieve within their business. Some of them are dedicated venues where they say, hey, look, hey 501, can we start a venue based on your products? Some are multiple. Yeah, and they're really cool places, and really proud of some of the businesses who are in there. Then you've got multi-activity centres that want our products as part of their offering. And then you've got things like pubs and bars where they might take, say, one or two products to supplement their existing F&B offer. Yeah. But the ones I particularly like are the ones where people have got underutilized space. So like a disused function room that used to be, fully booked or whatever. And now they're thinking, how can I use that space and develop it into something cool? And we've got a couple of those. So take, for example, the Four Seasons in Leiden, just outside Basildon, converted a soft play area on the side of a pub into a sort of competitive socializing bar. So they've got 3 of our interactive darts lanes, they've got a shuffleboard table, and they've got 2 pool tables. And they've created this fantastic space that's now like super busy all the time. And when you see what it was, sort of a tired, run-down, soft play, into what it is now, that's one that we're really proud of, and it's awesome. They're doing really well.
Can we take the Four Seasons?
Yeah, by all means.
Awesome, sounds good. And if we deep dive in this Four Seasons model, then you deliver the products, then the gamification starts. It gets busier. People have a longer stay as well, right, at the place. Do you help them designing the dart lanes as well? Because of course it's an interactive dartboard system. But do you also do the teams and those kind of things?
Yeah, so sometimes, and again, it comes down to every project is unique. We have some turnkey packages where we will say, do you know what? Give us a space and watch what we do with it. And it's basically, give us an amount of space and power, some data. We'll come along and we'll put everything in. But we also consult on designs, so we will see the architect's drawings and see the layout of the proposed darts lanes and shuffleboard. And we say, well, do you know what? Actually, if you had this here or had this there, that might produce a better guest experience. And then sort of, every venue's got its own unique personality. So designing the furniture, designing the fit out, we'll consult on that as well. So looking at how guests congregate around our equipment, what's optimal for F&B consumption, because ultimately that's a big part of our offer, is driving additional F&B sales. So we work with venues on all of those things to make sure that their design is optimal.
And would you say, if you go back to the success of not per se Four Seasons, but in general, is that the F&B in the end what's going faster? So actually the success is not per se your product, but the product causes...
Exactly that. So what we are designing is basically F&B machines. They are things that attract people into the venue and keep them there for longer. Okay, so yes, there's the additional benefit of having the utilization charge. So guests will be charged to use the equipment that we supply, and that creates in a lot of venues, particularly in pubs and bars, that produces a new revenue stream that they've never had before. Slightly different in FECs and leisure environments, because that's their standard model. But ultimately, what our games are designed to do is provide the right ratio between engagement and consumption. Okay, so it's not frantic where you're so immersed in the activity that there's no time to eat and drink, but equally, it's not, your goes aren't so sparse that you lose engagement with the game. And we think we've balanced that really well. So, few throws, watching what other people are doing, standing around, eating and drinking. And all of that adds to the experience for the guest as well. So
tricky question. You don't have to answer. What's the minimum percentage of growth they can see in F&B? Or is that too scattered to tell?
Do you know what? I wish I knew. Because if I knew, I'd be using it in all my marketing campaigns.
Yeah, it's not digitally linked to the tab, of course.
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? So actually getting a tangible answer is very difficult, and it's not something we have direct sight of.
By hearing it sounds still logical that the F&B sales goes up, though. I will be quite sweaty after a couple of darts. Cool. And if you go from profit to some problems, actually, because that's always happening in business as well, right? What are the key returning issues that you run into when you start working with the leisure center, and how do you tackle them, if there are any?
Okay, so installations, always have their challenges with fit outs and working and coordinating various contractors. But we're now in a position where we have a very simplified installation process. It's all very well documented, and we offer support along the way to all of our clients. The financial side of it, in terms of actually selling, is extremely easy to demonstrate. And we've now built up this bank of evidence where we can quite easily show customers the ROI of our products and how quickly, quickly they get that return on investment. Exactly, yeah. So the main issue we face is actually communicating to end users what our products are. Now, for you and I sat here, we understand what interactive darts is because we've seen it. So for us, it's fairly straightforward. Augmented reality darts. We understand it. But for people outside of our sector, for people who have never heard of what we're producing, if I mention augmented reality darts, they haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. So actually communicating to the end user what the product is our biggest challenge. Because a lot of people are familiar with soft tip dart machines, a coin-op machine, whereas ours are, real darts, real dartboards. Even on the augmented, it's a real dartboard and real darts, and communicating that to people is one of the big challenges. So what we've done, and what we're actually in the process of doing, is we've actually got a shoot next week where we're going to start, getting a lot of video content, building up a load of collateral that we can share with our venues. Yeah. So they can have that on their websites, they can share it over social and push out the message. This is what interactive darts is. This is what augmented reality darts is, so that people understand it straight away. An interesting feedback I actually had from one of our customers was that they had a venue with mixed activities, and interactive darts was one of them. They said on their website, their online bookings, interactive darts was their lowest booked activity, but overall, their highest played activity. So, of course, people see it online and they're like, interactive darts, I don't know what that is, but I know what mini golf is. I know what this is. I know what that is. I'll book those. They get to the venue, they see it, and they go, oh, I understand it now. Now I've seen a dart hit a board. I've seen something animate on the screen, or I've seen, the augmented reality and how that works.
With
I want to play. Yeah, I want to play that. And so all of the walk-in traffic is huge, and it's just a way of getting it out there to everyone who hasn't been to a venue and see it in action. So that's what we're currently working on at the moment.
Awesome. Side question, because you talked about the pubs and bars, but also about the FESCs. To whom does your product fits best? And do you also decline requests? Example, sometimes I speak to a smaller FEC, they have some square foot left. Does it need to fit the theme? Do they always need to have F&B? Or would you say, no, it fits everywhere as long as they have space?
Yeah, I mean, the addressable market for us is quite large because, like I mentioned earlier, the products suit a really wide selection of venues. However, we have turned people down in the past and said, look, we honestly don't believe this is right for your venue. But equally, we've been surprised by some venues as well. Somewhere we've sort of been on the cusp and thought, will it work, won't it? And, it turns out to be a phenomenal success. But whether there's what's the perfect venue for our products, it's really difficult to say.
Of course, I understand.
So like I say, we're in bowling, we're in pubs, we're in bars, we're in FECs. We're in all of these different types of venues, and each are successful in their own ways. But what we've seen coming back from COVID is that the utilization is over double what we saw pre-COVID. So it's really exciting.
People come from the couches. People can go again.
Exactly.
Yeah, that takes us to the next question also, because you highlighted before, but the trend gamification and competitive selling is there. It's out there. It's the next evolutionary step also within the sector, I see. Could you explain in a really short phrase, 2 phrases, why this is so evolutionary and why this is now so ramping up?
Well, again, I mean, it comes down to what I said before. It's instant gratification. People want something instantly and on demand. So if it's darts, that our interactive darts, our augmented reality darts, they get all the gratification of an experienced dart player playing in a competition instantly, because they throw the dart, all the rules are on screen, all the scoring's automated, and that's what makes the difference.
Got you. And what brings it then that people? I mean, I understand this, and I'm willing to do the darts. What brings people from the beer table to do this darts? You see that this is happening, or do you also see that people don't do it?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple of things. One is, like I mentioned, the ability to share stuff on social media. People love the opportunity to get up, have a picture taken, and then share it with their networks. Exactly. Yeah. But also there is I think a societal change with younger generations. So if you speak to people under 30 and say, I don't know, should we go out for a drink? It'll be like, well, okay, but what are we going to do? And for my generation,
always second question.
For me, for my generation, it was like, well, we're going to go for a drink and sit around and talk. But today's generations, it's like, well, what are we going to do with that? There has to be an activity to keep people stimulated, keep people engaged. And I think that's a big driver, and people are always looking for new things. So.
Yeah, clear answer. Thanks, check. And if you look at any best practices, in terms of the online world, because that's where you are as well, what best practices would you apply here if you would increase online success?
Video content is absolutely key, and that's what I've mentioned earlier. We've got a shoot next week to increase the level of marketing materials we can share with our customers. Is communicating to guests what the products actually are. Now, on site, if there is a vacant lane, we recommend that venues take guests up to them and give them a 20-minute free promo. Because as soon as that first dart's thrown, people understand it. 20 minutes is enough time to get them involved in the game. And then at the end of that 20 minutes is, I want to continue. I want to get my own back on such and such. I want to beat them. And so that will develop into more sessions.
Yeah. Check. Check on that. Yeah. And from the other answer that you gave me, right, back to the trend as well and why it is. So people rather want to do active stuff instead of passive stuff nowadays, which is, I think, absolutely a good trend after this year and a half. Coupled with the fact that consumers are eager to reconnect and enjoy new premium experiences, is what you say. Actually, even more after the COVID lockdowns. Okay, check on that. The eat, drink, play concept. Would you say that that's totally the same as competitive socializing? Is it linked to the gamification? Because that's what I see in your company statement as well, right? The eat, drink, play concept.
Yeah,
combines it all together.
I think there's a lot of sort of strap lines and industry labels that are banded about. Eat, drink, play is one of them. Competitive socializing, social entertainment, eat-attainment is one I've seen recently.
Haven't heard of one yet.
Yeah. So it's really a case of who can come up with the best pun for describing what the sector actually is. But ultimately, it's an activity that is paired with a food and beverage offer. So your typical leisure or hospitality setting with the additional activity on top. Now, the original one is probably 10-pin bowling. So people went out, they'd have a game of bowling, they'd have a few beers, have a bite to eat. So we describe that as the original competitive socializing activity. When you look at the history of 10-pin bowling and when it really ramped up, the thing that triggered mass growth was the automation of scoring. So as soon as it went from a piece of paper and having to add up the scores and do all the spares and the strikes to automated scoring, that gave it mass market appeal. And that's exactly what we're doing with darts as well, with shuffleboard. So we're taking away that level of complexity and bringing it to the mass market. So all you're really doing is reducing the game to its core competency, which is, can you push a thing? Can you roll a thing? Can you throw a thing? And if you can do that, we'll do the rest and deliver you this great experience.
Yeah, and the interactive part stays, but you don't have to do all the administration. It does it for you. Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome, cool. Hey, and maybe last question also. That's probably on everybody's mind. What's on your agenda now? I mean, the year is new after this 18 months. what's on your agenda? I mean, on the bigger long terms, and what do you do for this? What is your aim?
It's a really, really exciting time for us. So, like I mentioned earlier, in the pub sector in the UK, so where we originated from, it was a very specific market centered around the UK, and now with the products we've developed through 501, they're international. So expanding internationally is our goal for the next for the foreseeable future. Moving all around the world, moving across Europe, the States, Australasia, Asia, pushing our products out as far and wide as possible. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a market for it. We've got product around the world, and we're seeing, as good, if not better levels of utilization in countries that you wouldn't necessarily associate with darts. So we've got this great opportunity to capitalize on that and move around the world. And then, of course, we've got new product development. So we've got a roadmap.
Besides the darts, besides the shuffleboard, there was my question indeed. Yeah.
That's it. So we've got a few things we're working on at the moment, which unfortunately I'm going to have to keep under wraps and keep a secret from you. But next podcast, hopefully I'll be able to reveal the next one and have a chat about that.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. How can people find you?
501fun.com.
Perfect.
So check out our website, have a look, and if any requirements, please get in touch.
Awesome. Jonathan, I thank you for the talk. Speak soon. Next podcast, we hear about the latest trend plus the latest product. Another question, Jonathan. So what advice would you give to me if I would be starting an FSC in the States or the Netherlands this year, actually?
Okay, well, I think now post-COVID is a great time to invest in the market. And probably the best bit of advice I could give would be to choose the right partners. It's so important from everything through from fit out to booking systems and activities to have the right people that understand your business and can deliver the right experience for your guests. Now it's very easy to go to market and look at, try and get the cheapest thing from everywhere. And, but it creates
logical because money is gone, right? So you look for the most cheapest option. That's what I hear a lot.
Absolutely, but that can happen. All it does is deliver this false economy where you may have a small saving up front, but unless you deliver a quality experience in terms of not just the fun that the activities deliver, but the actual ease of booking them and the service behind them, then you won't gain the customer loyalty to get people coming back and enjoying the experience time and time again. So for me, choosing the right partners, curating the right offer, the best strategy to have.
Within this answer, I also find that you say working with the right partners. So you don't put all your betting on one horse. I don't know if this is an English pronunciation, but I mean, so you don't choose the wall in one solution. You choose from multiple partners that working better together. Is that what you say?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of collaborations across the industry with various partners working together. But it all depends on what the offer is you're trying to make. If it is a multiple activity center, then some providers may have a better offer than others, and it's all about mixing and matching to get the right offer. But if you are going to mix and match, it's crucial that all of those systems can integrate to provide a seamless experience for the guests, and also on a reporting front as well, because operationally, you'd want to get all your data from one place, be able to see exactly what's going on in your venue and understand how it's working. And that could be tricky from multiple data formats and multiple different multiple platforms. Integrations and providers that are willing to work with each other and build a really successful overall offer.
Is this also your advice to people? I mean, let's say I will be working in the industry for 50 years now. Hopefully I will be at one time. So if I would, at this moment, I'm in this industry for 50 years, and now I think, let's go online. Are these the answers then that I would like to, that I'm searching for? So looking for the right partners, don't go for the cheapest one, but go for the best one.
Yeah, I would always say go for the best one. Look around and say, right, what does my business need? Who understands the needs of my business and who can help me deliver? And that's the thing, there's a a lot of people out there that might promise the world and not deliver, but who's actually got a track record for delivering the best products, the best services, and driving revenue, and who can evidence it, you know?
Of course, and there's ROI, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thanks so much for your answers.
Pleasure.